You too! Welcome back to another video, and in today's video, we are going to talk about CDL, all right? The Call of Duty League, the Gentleman's Agreement, their official list, all right? This one really hits home to me because I have been a huge proponent on the fact that they watered down the version of this game. And I just wanted to go over it with you guys because you guys need to stick to the end because they came out with another set of lists. They added a little bit more to the list. And I want you guys to definitely stick to the end for this. But let's get right into this. And let me give you guys a little backstory, all right? So back in Modern Warfare 2, I tried to play the competitive scene. I tried to play game battles. I tried that stuff, man. But I couldn't get into it. You know why? Because they ban everything. Okay? And I do want to let you guys know we will be giving some solutions to what I think could probably fix this, but I just want to go through Modern Warfare 3's like ban list and all the stuff that they're banning and everything, and let's just get right into this. All right, so first off is maps. All right, I think everybody can talk about the first one is where's Scrapyard. All right, Scrapyard should be up here. I would also argue that Karachi's trash. Like, get Karachi out of here. I mean, the fact that they pick sub base is kind of funny, but I don't like Karachi, and I know it probably plays well for search and destroy, but I just Karachi's just a boring like map. And if you come down here, it's in control and it's in a hard point. I don't the way the buildings are in Karachi, I just don't like it. But the other maps, Invasion, I'm good with. Skid Row, I'm good with. Sub Base and Terminal, I'm good with. Even though I personally don't like Terminal, if you guys watch my how to fix domination flags on Modern Warfare 3, I don't like the flags on domination. Obviously, that's just domination, but I mean it probably plays well. I just don't like where I don't like that Burger Town corner that you have to fight. If you're on the escalator side of that corner where C would be for domination, you just have such an advantage. So I don't really like that. So let's go down. Primary weapons, Modern Warfare 2 weapons restricted. Okay, so we just ban half the game. Got it. Track it. Assault rifles. They banned the Holger 5.56. Is the 5.56 really that much better than like the MCW? Like, I feel like the MCW is really good. And here's the thing is, again, I'm a big proponent on like you as it like, so again, before I go any further, I want to say this. It's also on the developers to make a good game. So let's keep that clear, right? The developers have to go into it making a competitive game. And if we remember back in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 2 had if I remember correctly, they had a ban system in the league, in the reg play, right? So my thing is, and we'll get into this later, the solutions, is why haven't we brought that back in a long time? And we'll get into that later. But again, like I said, like like why are we banning the Holger? Like, why is that a thing? Like is it that much overpowered? So then right now everybody's using the MCW. Everybody would be using the Holger. What's the difference? Everybody's using the same weapon anyways. So I don't understand why there needs to be a restriction on weapons when if you would just, like I said, we'll talk about this later, if you just have quote-unquote a ban system, people will probably just ban it anyways. And we'll get into that. Battle rifles restricted. Okay, well, shotguns restricted. Like, bro, like why are we, like this, shotguns would be fantastic on Skid Row. Right? They would be fantastic on Skid Row. And we get to lose that option of like, let me say this. This is why nobody watches competitive. And this is kind of what this video is about. Because they basically ban everything in the game. And when we think about a map like Skid Row, submachine guns and shotguns should reign supreme. And you banned one of them. Why is using shotguns so unfair? If everybody's using the same shotgun, where's the unfairness in it? You know what I'm saying? And it would give you strategic, like the ability for strategicness. Now, instead of just everybody running the same tactical equipment, some people might run, flashes. Some people might run stuns because they don't want the person with the shotgun to get close to them. Some people might run other stuff. And that's the thing that's what I despise about the CDL and all their different things. Let's continue. Marksman rifles. Apparently you can use some of them, but you can't use these three. whatever. LMGs, like, I mean, let's be honest. Modern Warfare 2 maps were not designed for LMGs and marksman rifles. They didn't really have that in the game. So, like, I'm not really, like I don't really necessarily care about this, but, like, why is it banned? Why not let them use it? Oh, is it because it can turn into an assault rifle? Like, who cares? Why, like, I would want somebody to come in and explain to me why they ban stuff. Now, in a competitive scenario, right? I understand having a banning system, but they don't have a banning system. This is the Call of Duty as a whole banning half the game and just saying you're not going to play with this stuff. Whereas I feel like if you look at like Siege, Rainbow Six Siege, you have to ban things if you don't want to play them. And then you have to deal with all the stuff that's in the game. And then that would force the developer to make better games. Whereas if we're just going to go ahead and ban half the stuff in the game, they don't have to make a good game because you're going to ban half of it anyways. Let's move on. Secondary weapons. Okay, you can't use Modern Warfare 2 weapons. You can use an RPG. So you can't use certain LMGs and marksman rifles and stuff. Why is there two different marksmans? Who messed this up? Anyways, continue. Maybe they meant battle rifles here. No, they got battle rifles. All right. Come on. Anyways, so you ban half the weapons, but you don't ban like an RPG. That'll make no sense. Attachments. Can't use Modern Warfare 2 attachments. Okay, muzzles. Again, I just don't understand how the Call of... This is why... This is the understanding. Okay? Let me break it down to you guys. Okay? The reason why Call of Duty... Don't get me wrong. There is an audience out for it. And I'm not saying it's terrible. But it would be a lot better if it would relate to more of the actual casual player that hops on every day and plays the game. People in normal public lobbies use a suppressor. And what does everybody do when they play competitive? Dead silence. So if you're gonna run around with dead silence anyways, why not have suppressors, right? And it's a sacrifice. And again, I argue the fact that the game needs to be made correctly, right? Like you have to have the developers make the game more competitive. So with that being said, if there was a pick 10 create a class system where if you took a suppressor, it would definitely take away from something else. Whereas in this case, you automatically get 5 attachments on your weapon anyway. So there, I get it, right? Like there's no downside to picking a suppressor. But I think that, you know, again, the game, it's like a match. It's like playing a basketball game, an NBA basketball game. It's like going to the park and going, we're going to take 3 points away. You guys can't shoot 3-pointers. Like, that's how it feels. Like, reading this list, that's how it feels. No, you can't shoot 3-pointers. Oh, no, you can't make layups. You only can shoot 2-pointers. But you can't use the backboard. You have to make a swish. I wouldn't play. And I don't play. Lasers. Okay, you can't use lasers. Okay, I don't understand. Right? Call of Duty and this is, and again, like I said, I'm in the middle, right? Like I agree with some of the things that Call of Duty does. I agree with some of the things that the competitor does for the reason why to make a competitive game. But Call of Duty goes out of their way to put attachments in the game, and these attachments actually give a negative effect, which again, I don't agree with to an extent. A lot of these lasers, like you can't see, and like let's be real, like in real life, a laser is supposed to be seen through nods. You're supposed to see them at night, not in the daylight. You could see the laser if you're looking directly at the gun, but the laser isn't going to be pointing at you in the middle of daylight. And so the fact that this stuff is, you know, restricted, it's like, bro, Call of Duty does all that work for it to be blocked. It's stupid. Ammunition. Okay, don't use any of it. Got it. Track it. There is one, but I think when we get to the next part, you guys are going to see this. Barrel, 500 deal charge, whatever. Tactics. Can't use all of them, except for like a smoke and a stun. You can't use a flash grenade? But can you use tac mask? Can you use tac mask? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what any of these mean. You can't use any of these perks? See, again, like, why? So my thing is, right, is we're automatically banning a perk that no one would use anyways. Why would you ban Scavenger? Like, it's so dumb that they go in here and they automatically ban it. I mean, ACS? Why? That's such a competitive thing. That's for the game. You know, if people are using ACSs, then that would allow people to use certain, you know, you would have to use, you know, whichever, I don't know what these are, whichever perk or, you know, whatever it's called, the gear, the boots, whatever, which one allows you to see enemy equipment. Like, you would have to use that if you wanted to get rid of that off the thing. But they just take that away. It's so bare bones. Bro, like, this is why I don't want to play competitive Call of Duty. Anyways, you guys can read it for yourselves. I'll pause it so you guys can read it. And if you guys want to know this website, here, let me bring it down for you guys. Let me transition you guys real quick. Let me update that. Why can't you see it? Why can't you see it? All right, it's Breaking Point. That's where they have it. Breaking Point, breakingpoint.gg. Modern Warfare 3's gentleman things. Let's continue. All right, so streaks. They basically banned every streak. It's kind of annoying. Very, very annoying. Call of Duty has had streaks in the game since Modern Warfare 3. If I remember correctly, Black Ops 2, you could use any streak. And so let's get into this. Modern Warfare 3 is a general agreement. All right, so if you guys didn't know, whatever. If you guys didn't know what Modern Warfare 3, it says it right here. Anything not banned in the rule list but agreed upon by the professional players. So for some reason, right, the competitive players get together and they agree to not use things, which, again, is not fun gameplay. So, again, weapons, longbow, KV, the DG58, the FR556, even though it's trash. Again, the Holger, even though it's already banned. MTZ556, which is basically a submachine gun assault rifle, so I don't know why it's a big deal. You know, but, of course, they won't ban the MCW. And then this is where I definitely get really upset. One smoke player per team in S&D. Okay. Well, think about this. If everybody uses smoke on the team, you wouldn't be able to stun rooms and you wouldn't be able to stun players. That is a trade-off. They wouldn't do this already. So why would you do this? Default skins must be used. I kind of agree with that. One sniper per team in S&D. Again, I don't agree with that. I think that you should be able to use as many snipers as you want. If you want to use 4 snipers, that's on y'all. Y'all gonna be kind of stupid on that. Especially if you have to be at a distance. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the only thing that I could argue is that if you're gonna allow snipers, then you can't have overkill and you have to use a secondary pistol or something. Maybe, but again, you're changing the game too much. Now, again, this is me going based off of what the game already has. Me personally, I don't think there should be an overkill perk. I'm sorry. I just don't agree that there should be that many types of weapons and you can run dual of them. In real life, you can't do that. I was in the Army. I'm sorry. You cannot run around with an M4 and a shotgun on, maybe a shotgun, but you can't run around with an M4 and an LMG on your back. You can't do both. You're definitely not going to do it with a sniper rifle. So the fact that, like, it's like, now, don't get me wrong. And you guys are going to argue, well, I'm in the military, this or this, that, and they have weapons. I get that, all that. But again, this is a video game. We have to understand that, like, there does need to be some fairness in the game. And being able to carry multiple primary weapons in a video game where it's fast paced and you can die is just, like, not fair. Like, you should have one weapon, and if you need to switch to your secondary, you can switch to a pistol, but you shouldn't have a assault rifle and you're like, I'm going to close quarters, let me just switch to a submachine gun. You need to play the map. You need to pick the right weapon for the right map and not get bailed out because you can use a perk that gives you multiple weapons. And don't tell me that there's no, oh, well, it's a, you know, you miss out on this, bro. It doesn't matter, bro. the game is, with the skill-based matchmaking and everything and the way it is right now, it's just way too much. Like, there's too much going on. You're not even going to last long enough, like, to even think about the stuff you're missing out on that you didn't pick because you picked overkill. This right here is hilarious, and we'll get into this. This will be later. AR weapons must have a sight attachment. Think about that. SA kill streak temporarily restricted due to the ping glitch. So it shows people where they are. Okay, got it. Any the attachments restricted. You guys see this? Increased melee damage, hides players from the minimap. Like, bro, like, what is this? Allowed for play, smoke grenade and flash grenade. Okay, they allowed it. They agreed it. So they banned it. Okay, they did bring it. I don't personally care about the settings. You guys can look at this. I'll go slow, and that way you guys can look at it and freeze frame it. But I don't really care about the game mode. They obviously take away 2 players, so it's 4v4. If you guys want to see all this, pause it. And yeah, that's going to lead us into this is really funny, and I want you guys to look at this. So this was CDL's Intel, what they posted. All right. High grain ammunition has been added to the GA list. Read bottom for sniper info. Basic general ones agree list. High grain ammunition. All muzzles that increase melee damage. The MTZ 556. You can't use a knife. What? ARs must use a red dot sight. Are we serious? Are we serious? Why do you have to use an iron sight? Because you know why? And this is the deeper thought of it. Because they want people to take up an extra attachment slot. Think about that. Force people to use a red dot sight and you lose an attachment slot. Think about that. SA kill streak. I'm not sure if they're going to allow this or they're not going to allow this. Probably not allow. I think it's not allowed. 2 times trophies per team max. Again, I'm a big believer that in field upgrades should not even be a thing in Call of Duty. You shouldn't have a free equipment at any given time. Now, hear me out. You're going to be like, oh, well, you spawn with free equipment. Yeah, that's different because you chose that, which means you're sacrificing something. Whereas in this game, you could pick a stun grenade, a grenade, and then because you have a field upgrade, you can still have smokes as well with the smoke airdrop. Now, I don't think they use that. I think they banned that. But like that's something they could do. Or vice versa, right? You run a grenade, a trophy system, and that allows you to take your third perk, whatever it is, and not have to use EOD, and you can use something else. So there's no counter like, oh, well, you took a trophy system and now you don't have to run EOD. Like, if you want to run trophy system, it should be like in a tactical slot where it takes away from where you can use a stun or something. But in this game, you can have both. You can have a stun and a trophy system and an EOD. So the fact that, like, I mean, I kind of agree that they can only have 2 times per team max, but again, I just don't think that it should be in the it shouldn't be in the field upgrade slot. There shouldn't be a field upgrade. Have all your equipment in the tactical and tactical, if it tactical, or the lethal, and then again right here, 1 smoke and S&D per team. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then look at this. Snipers are currently out. They don't even want snipers anymore. But not fully out. Maybe brought back with no attachments. So again, my final thoughts to this is, we talk about the game developers making a game for competitive, and then we talk about the competitive players playing that game. It's a balance for both. So let's talk about some solutions when it comes to Call of Duty, okay, and the competitive side from a casual player, right? Like, I don't really care to play competitive. I don't think it's fun. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I like watching Optic, Scumpy, and Nate Shot? Yes, because they're really good. But for me, it's hard to get into the other people because they all do the same thing. They all use the same weapons. They're all going to run the same strat because there's so much limited equipment in the game that it's not fun to watch when I'm just going to watch competitive. The reason why I watch Scump and Nate Shot is because those who I grew up with. I've watched them from the beginning all the way up to till now, so I don't mind. I've learned to love their personality because they do YouTube on the side. These other competitive players, I don't know who they are. They're not doing anything different than anybody else. They don't have a different play style because the game doesn't allow it, right? So again, if we look at Black Ops 2, that game made a game for competitive. But because the game was so competitive, hear me out. What I mean by the game was competitive is I mean that the game was made for competitive, that there wasn't much to ban because everything was competitive. And so when you play pubs or competitive, like ranked, it's even, it's fair. There's not much to ban. But I will argue that I also agree with certain things, such as like Rainbow Six Siege. There should be a list of maps. Maybe you can ban certain maps, but what I suggest is that whenever you're playing ranked play, then instead of even in the CDL, it should be a set of maps, and then you vote on which maps you're going to play on. So for instance, Hardpoint has, here, let's go back to it. So here's what I was saying. This is what I would say. So for instance, Hardpoint has set these maps, right? What I would suggest is, I don't know the full rules and regulations of like what they play. Do they play 3 maps and it's the best of 2? Or is it the 3 maps? Is it the best of 3? Or, what's the vibe, right? So what I would say is, like, let's say you played in a rotation. Let's say it was the first team to win 4 maps. I don't know. You guys can correct me in the comments below. So let's say it was the first team to win 4 maps. Okay, so you start at Hardpoint, you start at Search and Destroy Control, and then it goes back. So what would happen is when you went to play that first game, you would then vote on the map. So it would have all these maps. Maybe it would select 3 out of it would just randomly select 3, and then you would have to select, okay, cool, let's say your team like, yo, we want to play Skid Row, and then the other team picks Invasion. Let's say it's even, then let's say your team picks Skid Row, the other team picks Invasion. If it's even, 4 and 4, boom, then the map goes to Karachi. I think that would be fully fair, right? And so that would be pretty cool. And then the same thing, you'd go back and then it would pick a different selection. Or what you could do is you could throw every map on there and then just let everybody pick, and it is what it is. But I know once you get into like a full lobby of players, you're going to have your team, and your team's going to see these maps. You're going to be like, everybody pick this map, and it's always going to be a tie, especially if one team picks another map. Like if both teams pick different maps, it's always going to be that. So I would suggest maybe you would have 4, and then it would be a random between the other 2. So if your team picks Skid Row and then the other team picks Invasion, it's a random chance of Karachi or Subbase. That would be a little bit more fair. Or you could pick even. If everybody picked even, then it would just be random. But with that being said, that's how I would do the mode batting. But if you wanted to do that, my real answer should be, we should get a Call of Duty that makes the really good maps, and every map in the game is viable, and then you do that picking where each team picks a map. And if again it's 4, let's say one team, or what you could do is do the reverse and pick a ban map. So you ban a map. So for instance, everybody's probably going to ban Derail. Now, yeah, that's kind of like, okay, well, we all banned a map, but then it's like, okay, well, what if we know that somebody's really good at a map? Let's say my team is really good at Skid Row, and the team's like, okay, well, we're going to ban Skid Row. That's good, because if for some reason, they ban Skid Row for Hardpoint, and then every time we get to play Hardpoint, we don't play on Skid Row, then that means now I have to learn other maps. I don't like the fact that we have to play on these same maps all the time. You should learn how to play all the game's maps. Now, again, this is where I say the game has to be good for making Call of Duty, maps and making a good Call of Duty. My second suggestion is the same way I just described it with all these weapons. You have 8 players on a team. You should have 8 bans. Each team gets a chance to take a ban on something. It's the same way as Rainbow Six Siege. I don't understand why it's a thing. It would be awesome. It would be awesome to watch the Call of Duty players ban items and see how well players do with other stuff. Because it wouldn't just be one ban. It wouldn't just be, it wouldn't just be random stuff. It would be the important stuff, and then you would have to use the other stuff. So right now what we do is we ban all the quote-unquote overpowered or stuff that doesn't matter, right? Whereas like if you went on, I guarantee you, if you had a ban system in Call of Duty, the Holger would be banned, the MCW would be banned, and people would have to use the other assault rifles. So why can't we have that? That would be a fun little 10-minute bit, maybe even a 5-minute bit, where we watch them ban or pick their maps and ban their weapons or equipment that they want to do. So you remember, you have 8 picks and you can ban anything. You can ban kill streaks. You can ban equipment. You can ban perks. You can ban secondaries and all that stuff. And so, like, I don't understand why they can't just do that. So that's how I would fix it. But again, to any Call of Duty like player out there, that plays competitive or plays ranked, you have to understand from a casual perspective, you're playing a watered down version of the game. And for casual people and for us that play the game for the full entirety of it, it's not fun to watch it because you guys are not using everything. And it's not fun to watch the people use the same weapon over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Hence why people don't like skill-based matchmaking and want to play in these competitive lobbies. Okay, so I want you guys to remember that when you guys are trash talking and talking about ranked, like, you got to remember that you're not using everything in the game. And when you come to a public match and you're ranked, yeah, you may be good and have skill in the sense of like gun skill and aim, but like you're not going to be able to compete with people that are quote unquote pub stompers that use everything in the game. We've had an issue where a lot of pub stompers go and play competitive in a competitive setting. How about we go competitive players and go into a public settings where there's public pub stompers and see how well you guys do. How do you handle dealing with claymores? How do you handle dealing with all the random jumbo stuff that everybody else has to deal with? How about you go to the park and take out 3-pointers and you're a 3-point shooter and you can't shoot off the backboard and you can't make layups. You have to shoot from without the side the circle and you have to shoot with inside the 3-point line and shoot 2-pointers all day. You would not have fun. You would be bored. Because everybody would know what you're doing. Everybody would walk up to you and literally once you got to the 3-point line, they were on you. And once you would have nowhere to go. So again, that's my take on the CDL. The CDL, gentleman's list and the official rule set. Again, I don't think, I just don't think it's fun, right? Like, I think we have to revisit this. Like, now, don't get me wrong. There is a scene out there for Call of Duty, and I got it. And I hope you guys continue to enjoy what you guys think is good. But as a big sports fan and as someone who plays Call of Duty all the time, competitive to me is just, it's not fun to watch because everybody's doing the same thing. That would be cool to see an awesome shotgun user, right? We want to relate to you guys. But when everybody uses the MCW or everybody uses the Rival 9 or everybody uses the same sniper rifle, like, how am I, I compare it to this. I go outside and, you have your people that shoot like Steph Curry or that drive the rim and dunk like LeBron or they act like they're Jokic. Give me that in Call of Duty. Who's my AR? Who's my best AR player? And why are they my best AR player? Oh, because they just aim better. Like, yeah, I don't care. I want to see what people can do with certain assault rifles. I want to mimic that. I want to be like, yo, I'm going to be like Scump and use this weapon. Or I want to be like Nate Shot and use this weapon. I watched their competitive series they just played where they won 150,000 or whatever. They're all using MCW. And I watched it because I like Scump and I like Nate Shot. But I'm not going to go watch anybody else play because they're using the same exact weapons with the same exact sight attachment, a red dot. It's like, it's boring. So I want to hear what you guys think about this If you guys like competitive, if you don't, tell me why. If you do, tell me why. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you guys aren't following my TikTok channel's link is in the description. AngelX24X. It's the same as my YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I am trying to post a lot more content. I'm trying to work on, my thumbnails. I'm trying to work on my titles. I'm trying to get better. All right. I also stream live almost every day. So come check those out. Also, make sure you put the bell on for put the bell on for notifications so you never miss anything like that. And I will catch you guys on the next one.